Yay.
Streaming.
We're good to go in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 140, recorded on August 2nd, 2017. On tonight's episode, we talk about the new Nintendo 2DS bundle with Mario 2. Mario Odyssey receiving a higher rating than just E. GameStop may or may not have been honest about selling out all those NES classics, Splatfest, and so much more. Zach,
hang on. You know what I forgot to do? I'm not even joking.
You didn't record, did you?
Didn't record it. Okay, it's recording now, though. Do you want to start again?
Yeah, sure.
Well, good thing you found it now and not 90 minutes from now.
I was like, why is this
Very good.
Oh, I didn't record. Okay, yes, now for real this time.
Here we go. Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 140, recorded on August 2nd, 2017. On tonight's episode, we talk about the new Nintendo 2DS bundle with Mario. And speaking of Mario, Mario Odyssey received a rating higher than E. GameStop may or may not been honest when they told you they were sold out of NES classics. Splatfest is coming up, and there's a ton more to talk about. Zach, you know what you got to do. Cue the music.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Dads Podcast. My name is Zach Erickson, and tonight is August the 2nd, 2017. Joining me tonight from the land of VGTribune.com is Jesse Waldeck. What's going on, dude?
VGTribune.com is a land now?
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. I mean, the first one was VG Tribune Brothers, and then Super VG Tribune Brothers, and now we're going to a different place. It's VG Tribune Land.
Oh, so it'll be VG Tribune 3D Land later.
Yeah, or World. I think World comes first or something. I don't know. Speaking of, I don't know, mutant Goombas. I don't know. That
Speaking of horrible segues.
There you go. From the land of the South, Marty Estes, what's going on, man?
It would be horrible if I was on a Segway.
Would it, though?
I've never ridden one. I've always wanted to.
The only time I've ever ridden one was when we were in Hawaii, and like we rode them around for not very long, and it was adequate. I don't know. It was.
I heard that the guy who bought the company died not long after he bought one by riding a Segway off the cliff.
Oh, I don't know if that's true or not.
Couldn't stop. I don't know.
Just
if it's not, though, if it is true, it's terrible. If not, I guess it's kind of funny.
I'm gonna let that myth live on, anyways. I'm not gonna refute it. Well, right on. Justin's not here. He's sleeping, apparently. I don't know what he's doing. I think he actually. His Instagram was showing pictures. I don't know if he's in doing things. He has life. He has children. I don't know. Justin, we miss you. Come back soon. And yeah, let's get. We've got some stuff to talk about in the news, so let's get into it.
Do it.
And the news is brought to us by VG Tribune. No, by Patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Why did I go with VGTribune.com? My gosh.
I have no idea.
That's pretty amazing. But yeah, Patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. That's where you can go to support the show. And we have some exciting Patreon announcements. We actually have several announcements to start off the show. First off, if you aren't a patron, okay, first, two things. One thing that is actually completely unrelated to all of this, but I'm going to say it anyways. I checked about an hour ago. We had 996 YouTube subscribers, which is like, I honestly was joking with the person I was with. I was like, I probably have a Google account that is not currently subscribed to this. Right? But if you are out there, if you're listening, youtube.com/c/Nintendo Dads, subscribe. Push us over that 1,000 subscriber limit this week. However, we have been giving away. We had a couple different giveaways. One is a Patreon monthly giveaway, right, Marty?
That's right. We have the mystery monthly merch giveaway to our $15 and up patrons, and we want to say congratulations to Alex Visser for being the first winner of the M3. Can we call it that? The M3 giveaway? Mystery monthly merch M3 giveaway. Alex, we'll be shipping your package out to you very soon, and we hope you enjoy the contents.
We could just call it the We could do that if you want.
No, let's not.
Oh my.
Yeah, so
is that like that song?
Oh no. I forgot about that.
I don't know, but yes. As well, we also I think, over the course of the month of July, we had our swag bag giveaway, which we were doing on our social media channels. It was spread some Nintendo Dads love and be entered with some cool swag bags. So we have 2 sticker packs, 2 swag bags, and a grand prize mega box that we're giving away. So for those sticker packs, congratulations to Ryan Walker and, a username is all we have to go off of until you contact us. But MHEPS. Sure. Yes.
MEPS.
You're getting some cool stickers that we're going to send to you. Nintendo Dad stickers that have never been released before, and they're exciting. The swag bags are going to, I'm not going to read last names here, guys. Wesley and Octavio, Wesley D and Octavio P. And of course, our grand prize winner is going to Brandon McFarland. So all of you guys email us nintendodads@gmail.com. And we'll be emailing you if you don't. We have your email address, so don't bother if it's not really you. But email us and we'll let you know, and give us your address so that we can send some stuff your way. The grand prize and the swag bags are going to be getting exclusive Nintendo Dads golden cartridge mugs, is what I like to call them. Plus cool little bags that you can put your Switch in, and of course all the stickers and stuff too. And of course the grand prize has a copy of Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia, which is pretty awesome too. So, and a bunch of other stuff.
You know what else is a winner, Zach? Speaking of Patreon.
A winner is you?
No, a winner is not you. Speaking of...
Hang on, let me find this for you. I'm going to celebrate. Where is it? Here. Let's find something that's going to just help us celebrate. Here. Where is it?
Here we go.
Oh boy.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The next Retro Rewind is Donkey Kong 64.
So you need to go download Donkey Kong 64, and then you need to play it a couple times, and then you need to take your Wii U. You need to take your Wii U and throw it in the garbage where it belongs, because that game's on there. So thanks to all of you who voted for Donkey Kong 64. I actually have to play the game, and I'm just gonna say I can't wait for this Retro Rewind.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I think is going to be important for this. You have to unlock for this game. You have to unlock all of the characters, and then it unlocks the multiplayer shooter mode that is basically a third-person arena shooter in this game. So if you can play that with friends or whatever, I think I have my best memories of that game have to do with local 4-player multiplayer in Donkey Kong 64.
Right.
With that competitive.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. So, get out 4 classic controllers, I guess. It's because everybody's got 4 of those.
Everybody's got 4 classic controllers. Yeah. This is actually going to make me play my Wii U for the first time since I got the Switch. So
I'm actually really I know that a lot of people say this game sucks, but I'm looking forward to playing it. So,
so the people who helped this win, do we call them fans or do we call them foes? Like, I just wonder, did they want to see us play it or did they want to torture us?
I think either way, that is the desire of the masses. Either way, so we call them supporters of the show. I don't know.
That's right.
I do think this was like the biggest vote we've ever had.
41 people voted in this Retro Rewind poll.
That's impressive.
And so we're excited about that. Thank you everybody who participated. And I'll just say for Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, and Castlevania 4, your time's coming. Mm-hmm. It has to. We have to get around to those two.
Yeah.
Those were second and third, respectively. Actually, I will. I'll go ahead and say this. Third place was a tie between Super Castlevania 4 and Duck Hunt. So we'll
both
play
of them
Dark
with
Galaxy
iconic
sometime.
soundtracks.
Yeah. Oh, so good. All right. So I'm gonna here, everyone. Take it to the fridge.
Walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smells.
All right, that's all I'm gonna do. All right, so let's get into the news, shall we? It was kind of a slow week, right? I mean, there was some stuff that came out that we're going to talk about in a little bit. The first sort of announcement is the 2DS bundle that was announced, right?
Yeah.
So for $80,
that surprised me because I thought that they discontinued this model.
No, they discontinued the 3DS, not the 2DS.
Right. I thought they had discontinued the 2DS before, like
I see.
before.
I think this is honestly this is the best thing in the world for them to have. This is like at the end of the DS's life cycle, they still had the DS Lite, even though the DSi and the DSi XL and all that crap was still going on. The DS Lite was still on the shelves, right? And it was dirt cheap. So this is another sign that the 3DS is on its last. It's in its twilight years because they've got the super cheap model, which I think this is $80 with a digital copy of a $40 game.
That
right?
includes all of its DLC.
Oh, it includes the DLC too. Yeah, see,
yeah,
so
it includes everything.
I didn't know that. I didn't.
This is a no-brainer. This is it's a great deal. So, and that's
well,
coming out
earlier, Zach, when we were having our Google Hangout, somebody was asking Mark, who is a patron of the show. He was asking. He has a 10-year-old son and a 2-year-old son. If this would be a good pickup for him, because they've never owned a handheld, but kids can be rough on systems, and I told him, I said, I think this is spot on what you're looking for, because that tablet. I said, if it's for you as an adult, then no, heck no.
Unless you're wanting honestly, I feel like if you are looking for a cheap way to get into the 3DS, I still would not feel terrible suggesting this to somebody. If you're like, hey man, if you're not feeling up to spending $150 on the 2DS XL or $200 for the 3DS XL or whatever the 3DS XL is, I think it's still even at this price, I think it's for everybody.
No, honestly. I mean, I think I get it's a great price. I just, having played both, the tablet style for people with bigger hands is not very comfortable at all.
That's true.
My son likes this 2DS, but I showed him this and he says he wants it. I showed him the new 2DS that just came out. He wants that too. So he just wants everything.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, right? Is that this is the only one that is currently on the market that is not a new 2DS or 3DS, right?
This is still a non-new system.
The 3DS XL, but not new, right? So just straight 3DS XL. That no longer exists, does it? It's the
that's been discontinued.
So it's the 2D.
We have the Nintendo 2DS, the new Nintendo 2DS XL, new Nintendo 3DS XL. I think those are the only 3 systems.
And that's it.
Right, yeah.
In production.
And I really don't expect them to keep this 2DS around other than just this version.
You don't think
I don't think we're going to see them, do maybe they do different versions of it as bundles.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see them producing the 2DS standalone. Because if you think about it, it's existed in bundles for a long time. Because we got one 2 years ago for my daughter, and they were selling Mario Kart 7 in it then, and they're still selling Mario Kart 7 in it now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, this one's just being touted as a special color, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't, after this one, I don't see them doing any other special colors or anything like that. They may just recycle the blue and the red and until they just run out.
Tim in the chat says he's waiting for the new 3DS Micro to drop. I said that won't be out until after this accessory is released.
No, that'll be the new. I think if anything, they do a 2DS micro, but I think their days of making 3D screens are over. And I know you're saying the tongue in cheek, but I don't think they're making any more 3D screens. Whatever's in the new 3DS XL, like they'll continue making those, but that's it. But yeah, that's the thing. I think that this is something that makes sense for them to leave on the shelves for as long as possible because it's so cheap, right? Like it is the perfect. It is like a really good price for an entry level Nintendo handheld, right? And so like especially for Christmas, like, oh mom, I want a Switch. Well, I can't afford to buy a $300 Switch. Well, I want a new 3DS XL. Well, I'm not going to spend $200. How about $80, kid? Right? Like, here you go. So like I think that's in that sense, I think it's still a really good. And the thing is with the specifically like the bread loaf one, which is what it looks like, you can drop that thing a million times. It doesn't have a hinge. It doesn't have anything. Like it's pretty solid.
The only thing about that is this is exactly why we upgraded to the new 2DS XL. My son has had his bread loaf 2DS, if that's what you want to call it, for 5 years, and because he has dropped it, and maybe not even because he's dropped it, because I've heard about this happening to other people, the sensor for his SD card is broken, and it only works certain times, and so there's games that he has that he can't play, there's save data he has that he can't load if his system chooses to be picky. And so, yeah, it ended up not, it didn't turn out good because we upgraded and I moved my 3DS over to the 2DS XL to give him the new 3DS, and it locked it down for 7 days. Because
wait, say that again?
It locked the new 3DS down for 7 days because it had been involved in a transfer.
Any system involved in a transfer cannot be transferred again for 7 days.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When you check that it, whether it can be, like does transfer, it pings Nintendo servers to do that. Mm-hmm. So they totally have control over that. And there's stories on the internet of people getting that as a workaround, Nintendo like lighting up and being like, well, yeah, we'll let you go ahead and do it because here's the story. We see your systems on the, on the internet. I called them. They're like, nah, we can't help you.
No, jeez.
Like I sat on hold for 5 minutes for somebody to tell me in 30 seconds, yeah, you'll have to wait the 7 days. Like, well, all right.
At least they did lift the limitation of the number of maximum transfers. There used to be a cap to that.
Oh, that was dumb.
Yeah, I think it was like 5. And I've gone through 3 transfers myself. And
I've transferred it a million times. Like I still have the ambassador certificate.
Yeah, so do I.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So let's see. Blue 3DS to let's see, what did I go to that? Did the 3D to red 3DS XL to black 3DS. New 3DS XL to white new 3DS to new 2DS XL.
Yeah.
So I've done my 5. So if that restriction was still there, I've done my 5.
Yeah.
And I'm just done forever.
So yeah.
Thank you, benevolent Nintendo overlords, for allowing us the ability to buy more consoles.
For the ability to access the content that we have purchased from your service. Forever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. So yeah, that's that. Next piece here. This is just a little one. This is so Super Mario Odyssey is now has received an ESRB rating of E10 plus, and it is the first game that has. Do we know why? Like, what is the what is the subtitle for all this?
The speculation is the New Donk City has humanoid characters that you can jump on and manipulate, versus being the normal cartoony type of characters.
Hang on. Okay. Yeah, that's...
I'm looking up the ESRB ratings as we're speaking here. Everyone 10 plus is constantly content that's generally suitable for 10 years age or age 10 and up. May contain more cartoon, fantasy, or mild violence, mild language, and or minimal suggestive themes.
Pauline's in a dress that is now suggestive.
Does she have cleavage or something? Like, what's
I don't
going
think
on?
so, but she's always been in a dress. I think she looked more busty, curvy in the GBA games.
Yeah,
or the DS games.
They haven't actually released like an actual detailed accounting of why yet.
No.
I looked.
Although the comments on Go Nintendo, the very first one, maybe there's jokes about the wedding night. So there is a wedding in this, so maybe there's like suggestive whatever.
Mario Odyssey isn't actually showing up on the ESRB website yet. This is just someone saw a report and posted it, apparently.
Jeff in the chat room saying maybe the dinosaur is scary. That was a pretty realistic dinosaur. Like I can see that. Maybe some of those animations are like, whoa, like that's.
Well, I just think that maybe, like Jesse said, there's some more realistic depictions of things, like people, and I don't know. Maybe it relates to that.
Yeah, maybe that's the only thing I can really think of. Like, I don't. For everything that we saw, it did look more realistic, more. I mean,
Mario is definitely not going to be like making lewd suggestions or anything like that. Nintendo's not going to allow that from their
of course
number one mascot.
And I don't think that anybody is worried about this either, right? Like,
no,
like this is a Mario game that is being designed for the traditional Mario fans, right? Like for the more hardcore audience. And I use hardcore very loosely, but the more skilled, there's a lot more there for sure with the game design there. So I'm not surprised. I don't think it's going to hurt them either though. So, also going along with that, Nintendo has removed Sombrero Mario from the cover art of the game. The new art that is showing now that he's not on the cover art anymore, which, okay. I don't really know why they would need to do that, but I did also hear some complaints that version of Mario was culturally insensitive, which I think is silly. It's
a character. It's in the game, so I don't understand. People who are complaining are probably not even gamers.
Yeah. Well, and
it's about like cultural insensitivity is to be honest. Is like, is there ever a place where you? And I don't feel like Tostarena, which is the level or the world where Mario is when he's Sombrero Mario. I don't feel like Tostarena is poking fun at that culture. But is there ever a time where it's like, is cultural appropriation always cultural appropriation, or is it celebrating a culture?
Yeah,
or
like,
is it?
If people have problems with this, and I know that Overwatch has gotten into crap about this, but Overwatch is much more blatant than this Mario game is. You know what I mean? Like, that entire game is based on, again, like you're saying, celebrating world cultures. Like, their character design is, okay, what is a new culture that this character has come from, right? So like Doomfist is like this cool, I think he's like a West African sort of, cool warrior guy. With the huge robot arm. That's super cool. Farah, or some of the stuff that like the designs, I think it's Symmetra. They've gotten in trouble for Symmetra, and I think that is some of those like legendary skins and stuff like that, right? Where they're like, whoa, that's like somebody's god here that you just made into a costume for gold. Whereas like, but there's like Sombrero Mario is not even a religious figure either, right? Like, well, although
I mean, let's just kind of go back to the fact that, and I know we're going to talk about this more when the game actually comes out, right? But
yeah,
the fact that Mario for the first time in a game, and I know there's been mushrooms and things that you can do this, but you can actually buy new outfits for Mario that he can wear wherever, like, you can change into the safari outfit, or you can change into the sombrero outfit,
and that'll be part of the gameplay. In order to get, like,
so
they showed in the treehouse, in order to get specific moon, you have to go into this building, but they won't let you in unless you look like them.
So what you're saying,
you have to buy the Mexican quote unquote outfit.
What you're saying is the reason this is E10 plus is because Bikini Mario confirmed. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Banana Hammock Mario confirmed.
Oh, don't do that. Is that our title?
Speedo Mario.
Yeah, so that's...
Or is Banana Hammock Donkey Kong's even worse?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, jeez. I'm not even going to go...
All right. Before we move on, I wanted to share this little tidbit of Odyssey that I saw in a video. You know that theme music that Adam Leonard loved so much when he was at E3.
Mm-hmm.
So there's in the middle of the song there's a small little trumpet riff where you hear "ba-da-da-pop-pop," and I had my son listen to it. And I'm like, does that sound familiar? He goes, no, I don't see why. So then I played a clip from the Donkey Kong arcade machine. When you jump over a barrel, that's the music that plays. Pop pop.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
So
nice.
I've always enjoyed Nintendo's playing with music. You know, they do. You know, Zelda does it a lot. You know, they hide themes within other themes.
Yeah. So that's Mario. I mean, it's fun to kind of get these updates. I'm not too concerned about it. I think it's not like they're going to take that out of the game, right? Like they're going to confidently do whatever they're going to do. But yeah. So okay, Marty, the way that you introduced this next story during our like pre-show bumper thing makes me think you might have some opinions.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I do, and I'm just going to throw this out here, and I'm going to say this: GameStop announced this week, and I think it was yesterday, that in the month of August they will be giving away 100 NES classics, but the only people eligible for the giveaway are going to be Power Up Rewards members. Okay, so this comes on the tail end of ThinkGeek last week
tons of them
discovering quote unquote a new stockpile of NES classics that they then promptly bundled and sold in ridiculously overpriced bundles full of crap. I mean, let's just be honest, full of Nintendo tchotchkes and crap that ranged anywhere from $139. I think was the cheapest one to $219, which was the most expensive. And yes, I was tempted by the one with Mega Man pins, but I already have an NES Classic, and so I didn't buy it. However,
Marty, I'm proud of you.
That being said, here's the deal. We have to admit at this point that GameStop was not honest with consumers when they said we are sold out of NES classics. The NES Classic, let's see, the frenzy kind of culminated at Christmas into the new year, and they were still saying then, we're only getting a few, da 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 da, and then all of a sudden Nintendo discontinues it, and what's coming is it, and then all of a sudden months later, when there's no supply to be found, ThinkGeek and GameStop, who, by the way, ThinkGeek is owned by GameStop, all of a sudden turn up thousands of these things.
Yeah. So
I mean, okay, and so now you're telling me that so you've been sitting on these for months when you told me, we can only get 6 at a time.
So in marketing speak, what they did is they strategically managed their supply chain, right? Like that's basically what they did.
And in non-marketing speak, they totally lied to consumers.
Yeah.
And I don't have any problem with saying that. I don't have any loyalties to GameStop.
No.
I do not think. Here's who I don't think is to blame in this. I don't think Nintendo is to blame in this. Nintendo sold a product. Nintendo they fulfilled the orders that were sent in via their distributors.
Yeah, once Nintendo sells them wholesale, it's out of their chain of command.
Yeah, and my favorite part about this is the people who are online blaming Nintendo. for this. And to be honest, I mean, I think I think with that there is still some animosity from the fact that Nintendo did not produce enough of these, and it's warranted, I believe. So, there is somewhat of a blame for Nintendo here, but they can't control the fact that GameStop sat on a warehouse full of these. There's nothing they could do about it.
Well, and I don't even know if we necessarily, again, not to like sit here and just to like defend GameStop or anything, but we don't know if like even does the agreement that GameStop has with Nintendo, does it require that they put them all out on the shelves immediately? Like, we don't know.
I would say no. I mean, once a company is sold or has bought their stock, are they not free to do with it what they want?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, exactly. Which is, I mean, that's how we get those bundles in place, right? Where we're like, yeah, you can't buy it unless it's a bundle. Right. Same thing that kind of happens. There is a suggested retail price for a reason, right? There's a reason that it's suggested and that it's not mandated.
What it comes down to is it's pretty shady.
Let's
call it what it is.
Yeah, it is for sure, and it's definitely, at the very least, it's anti-consumer. It is not transparent. It's definitely not, like, people are justified in being angry about it, but it's a sort of things where, yeah, you're right, absolutely, but also, are we surprised at all?
No, but you know what's crazy about it is that those bundles sold out.
Yeah,
that's the crazy thing about it. And the thing is that they were probably bought by people who just like months before or weeks before had complained about scalper prices.
Yeah.
But
they're just professional scalpers.
The thing about it is GameStop now has a situation where and this is, to me, maybe you could disagree with me or not. You can push back at me on Twitter or whatever. GameStop manufactured a shortage situation, which people accused Nintendo of doing a lot. But GameStop manufactured the situation, and then knowing they had these things, then turned around and said,
That's the worst part. Yeah.
You know what? We could sit on these things, and we'll sell them in 4 or 5 months because we see the demand. We'll sell them in 4 or 5 months, and we'll bundle them with a light up Triforce and a Mario whatever, and we'll make a killing. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that bothers me.
Yeah,
because you mean, don't say you have a company who literally their slogan is "Power to the players." This is not power to the players. This is not anything for the players. It's for you. It's for you as a company to profit off people who unfortunately weren't able to pre-order or weren't able to get something in your store because you underhandedly manufactured a shortage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like, in this here, like, hypothetically, would it have been better for them not to say anything at all about this and just be like, just not have a comment about it? Like, would that be a better response, a better way for them to deal with it? Is, we've got this is how many are coming through, this is how many that are going to be going to stores, and they just say whatever and like not say this is it. Because I think that's what I hear you saying, is that is too far for them to say this is all we have. That's too far for them to say there's only going to be a certain number available on this date. Then that's vague but true. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
is that they actually full blown lied, or I don't know.
They had to have known. And at the height of consumer desire for this, which would have been, December 1st through whatever, they had to have known. They had to have known they had these.
At the same time, you kind of have to look at this from a business perspective and think, like, again, this is like absolutely everything you're saying as far as it's being shady and whatever. Absolutely 100% true. Also, in like an evil genius sort of way, I'm like, wow, they actually anticipated that demand pretty well and they capitalized on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, part of me is like, wow, I kind of admire that business stuff too.
But I think this also reveals something about GameStop that's going on internally right now, and that is that they are using this as a drive to push more Power Up Rewards memberships. And that could be indicative of a downturn in GameStop's participation level in that, as far as
That's true.
As far as the consumer participating in that. Because, I mean, really what you're doing is you're paying, what, $15-20 a year to save money, quote unquote?
Mm-hmm.
So, while I very rarely buy new games from GameStop anymore, and buying new games as a pro member doesn't get you anything other than, points, which you can redeem for stuff later, I maintained my membership just because my kids buy and sell used games a lot. And that's definitely where the benefit is. Because as a pro member, if you buy a used game, you get 10% off. If you trade a used game in, you get 10% more. So
right.
I have, year over year, I have gotten the better end of that deal. But eventually there will come to a point when the kids, they don't care anymore, or they're buying their own stuff, and I don't have to, because as soon as they're 18, I can be out of the loop and they can do what they want. At that point, then I'll probably end it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I totally hear what you're saying though, Marty. And I'm only giving. I actually agree with you. I'm just giving the other side, as devil's advocate side here. But
and that's fair. I think we need to be fair. I mean, I think you need to look at it from both sides. I mean, it's an incredibly smart business practice, but it's monetarily it's smart. But my question is does it end up being monetarily smart in the long run? Because it costs them consumers.
Yeah. And if you don't have the goodwill of your consumers, then you're not going to be doing very well. Yeah.
Tim reminds me that we also get a magazine for being a pro member, but really the last time I looked at that magazine was, I don't know. I normally get it in the mail and toss it.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, by the time most magazines get to you, and I'm not just throwing that one out, but by the time most magazines get to you now, you know everything.
Yeah, I also subscribe to Nintendo Force, and really, I don't think I've looked at an issue in months, and I don't know why I still subscribe, but I still do.
Because they have cool posters.
I don't even look at them.
Oh, see, that's the thing. So that's GameStop. Good job, GameStop, for pissing off your customers. Good job. Next up, speaking of Splatfest. Splatfest is this weekend. There is a new map that they just announced in Japanese. I'm pretty sure it's actually called the Twilight Zone. This new map.
Yeah.
But
here it's called Shifty Station.
And it actually does change, like the layout of the map is going to change in between Splatfests apparently, which is kind of cool. But the actual logo one of the images that they showed was actually like straight up Twilight Zone. Like it was like black and white with the little wavy lines or the, whatever. It's pretty cool. It's a cool looking level. I like the idea of having a Splatfest specific level that only shows up during Splatfest. I think that's really cool. And of course it's ketchup versus mayo, which
there's only one choice.
See, that's the thing that I'm kind of wondering about though, like because like what you're saying is ketchup, right?
Oh no, I'm saying mayo.
Are you really?
Ketchup's gross.
Oh no, see, we've got issues here on the show. I actually suspected that it was going to be drawn across geographic lines because mayo is much more popular in some areas of the world than others, especially in South. It's much more popular than some places, but anyways.
I know, when I first heard this, my first thought was I like ketchup, I like mayo, but I like them both to get mixed together better.
Oh yeah, dude, where's Team Fry Sauce? That's what I want.
Brian says mayonnaise is disgusting.
Actually, if I actually chose Team Ketchup. If it was Team like Chipotle mayo, like like Southwest mayo with like some, like spicy mayo, then I'm like, oh, Team Mayo all the way. But if it's just plain old mayo, like liquid lard or whatever, then I'm just like, Team Ketchup. But
Ooh, if you put it that way.
or it's literally just like plain old Miracle Whip.
It's not liquid lard. Come on, people. Is not that just, it's so demeaning. And look, here's the bottom line honesty that I have to give you is I'm not really a fan of either. I like very, very little light mayo on like a burger or a sandwich. And so this one for me, this Splatfest is kind of like, which one do I like more without liking both of them?
Yeah. Actually, most of the
Is it-
time, if I get a burger at home, I'll put mayonnaise and barbecue sauce, both on it.
What is the one for Japan this time? I'm actually going to look it up there's like a wiki here. Hang on. So they did rock versus pop. Oh no, it's actually ketchup versus mayo over there too. So it's worldwide ketchup versus mayo.
Interesting.
So that's going to be interesting. So that's happening this weekend. They're doing it for 24 hours. So it will start.
That's normal.
I thought they did it for 2 days, but I guess I was wrong.
They've always been 24 hours.
Okay.
It's just,
So
just
basically,
the last one is only 4 because it was a pre-release thing.
So it's starting for North American times, it's starting on the 4th, which is Friday night at 9 p.m. Pacific. And it is going until 9 p.m. on the 5th.
So
and
midnight to midnight Eastern time, Saturday.
Yeah. And then the results will be posted an hour later, is what it's showing here. This is according to splatoonwiki.org. So, so I'm assuming that's right.
Well, I mean, they're obviously correct with a name like that.
Yep.
Yeah. How can you not trust that?
So here's my question. Because in the original game, in Splatoon 1, if you like the colors were always the colors of the two teams in the battle. These two colors for this one, when they showed off the map, it was green and purple. And I think it would be really cool if we had like ketchup versus mayo, where it's like this really cool bright red color and this sort of pale off-white yellow color for mayo, right? It's literally we're shooting ketchup and mayo around at each other is almost what I think. I hope that they actually stick to this color scheme during Splatfest and that it doesn't end up being like, because even during the cake versus ice cream thing, for matches where it was ice cream versus ice cream, which was almost all the time, I saw all sorts of colors, right? Like they didn't stick to the color scheme at all. So I wonder, I hope that we stick to this color scheme and they don't just like have a bunch of random colors in the game come Saturday. But I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you want to shoot ketchup and mustard at each other for 24 hours?
I think that would be cool. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do with this game. I mean, I really hope that I don't know if you remember this, but back in the original Splatoon, they had a Splatfest that was Autobots versus Decepticons.
Yeah.
And I really wanted it to be like purple versus red the entire time, but it wasn't. So I think where it fits, like I can't remember the initial Splatfest whether the colors changed or not. I don't think they did. I think if you
for Splatoon,
yeah, the previous Splatfest.
For the ones that were Team Ice Cream versus Team Cake, I did get the color scheme that was on the artwork. But for ones that were Team Ice Cream versus Team Ice Cream, obviously it was different.
Yeah, they had to change it.
So hopefully we actually get because I have never had a match where these two colors were paired against each other. Like I don't even think I've seen these. I
think this Splatfest would have worked out better, and they could have done like a more condiment colored thing if they had done ketchup versus mustard.
That's what my daughter said.
It's weird, like why mustard is left out here, because typically it's ketchup versus mustard. That's what you hear most of the time. Mm-hmm. Do you want ketchup or do you want mustard?
I wonder if mustard is like I wonder if, especially with that cake versus ice cream thing where it was just like an overwhelming majority of people, if they're like, maybe if we do ketchup versus mayo, it's going to be a closer, like they do like sampling.
More divisive.
Yeah, so they're like, let's have it be as divisive as possible. So they're going to choose things. By the way, I can't remember where this is, and this is totally off topic, but I want to do this because just as far as condiments go, the most popular condiment in the United States, what would you guess it is?
I'm going to guess ranch.
It's actually mayonnaise.
Really?
Followed closely by ketchup. So there you go. That's probably
So someone did the research.
somebody did their research. Exactly.
Yeah. I'll just talk about.
I had heard
this topic reminds me of the Batman villain, the Condiment King.
Nice. I had also heard that salsa is usually pretty high up there if you consider it something.
You know what? Actually, the third most popular condiment in America is soy sauce.
What? I think hot sauce is up there too, right?
No, this is from Gothamist, a article in 2014. Mayo number 1, ketchup number 2, soy sauce third. Crazy.
Americans love their salt.
Yep. Wasabi. I think you got to have wasabi in there. Vegemite. Team Vegemite versus
barbecue sauce was 4th.
Team Vegemite versus Team Wasabi. There we go. That's the next one.
Vegemite versus Nutella.
Oh. That is like that is a sweet and savory mix that I just don't want to. I don't want to fight. Don't fight. That like Vegemite just needs to go away. Is what it is. Okay, so we've had enough talk about condiments. Welcome to Condiments Dads.
Condiment Dads.
Yeah, make sure to say the whole thing. Ultra Street Fighter 2, sorry, not 4, was a success for Capcom, and more games are on the way. We have Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 have been announced for the Switch, and I'm assuming they have other stuff coming up too, right?
Well, I mean, basically the article that I've read refers to the fact that Capcom was very pleased with the Ultra Street Fighter 2 sales. I think somewhere around the neighborhood of 500,000 units, or just a little bit less. And because of that, they have now begun to work on multiple games for the Switch. And not long after that article was released, news broke that Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 are indeed on their way to the Switch from Capcom. Not sure if they're in the same package or if they're two separate deals, but it seems like right now they're going to be in the same box.
I don't know if it's just my twisted thinking here, but I would think more people would be more interested in Disney Afternoon and Mega Man Collection 2.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I feel like the success of Ultra Street Fighter 2 has more to do with Nintendo's marketing of that game and less to do with the effort that Capcom actually put into that game. That's maybe.
I actually heard it was critically rated pretty poorly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, and my experience with it was fine, but it was way overpriced. It's like it was.
Yeah,
like,
that was the main issue. It would have been a better $30 game versus a $40 game.
30 or 20 or like I don't know. It was fine. It just was nothing that the fact that they are very pleasantly surprised. I think part of that too is like, oh, okay, well, we knew that we kind of put out a half-hearted effort, but people seem to be really excited about us on the Switch, so sure, whatever.
We would just be excited if Capcom actually, made decent games.
Yeah.
More than once every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I was going to say another Ace Attorney, but I still haven't finished the last one.
Do you guys?
I would actually really like an Ace Attorney on the Switch.
Well, I'm sure they're not gonna be able to make them for 3DS forever. If they're gonna stay on the Nintendo console, they're gonna have to go to the Switch eventually, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's just an eventuality at this point. Having said, so it's exciting. I have Resident Evil Revelations 1 on the Switch or on my 3DS. But I'd never played it. I think I got it on a sale.
Is that the one where they spelled the name wrong? Is that the one where they?
Yeah, I think the box art
they
is
spelled the name wrong
wrong
on the box spine. I remember we poked fun at them back on an old VG Tribune Roundtable episode. Did we lose?
I do think it was misspelled. I think it was Revelations.
Yeah. Did we lose that? Yep, we lost.
It's possible. Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back.
At first, I thought he was like researching his box arts, but then his image didn't move. So
Poor guy.
But we're still streaming for the live fans.
Oh, okay. So it's definitely not recording then, probably.
Yeah. He'll crop them together.
Nice.
Anyway, so one thing. So side topic, since we're waiting for Zach to come back. One thing I was thinking about maybe trying to do with the live stream, because I saw Roger do this in a live stream he did, was incorporate the chat window in the stream.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there we go. I'm back.
So we should play with that sometime.
I don't know.
I think that's a great idea.
You died,
What?
Zach.
I don't know what happened. Okay, we're back. I don't know what happened. That was weird. So yeah. Anyways, so like, would you guys be excited about a Resident Evil on the Switch? Or is it like, yeah?
As I said before, not a game for me, but I'm glad there's games out there for someone who likes it.
I'm happy you're happy. Is that what you basically are saying?
Yes.
Somebody out there is happy, and you're happy that they're happy. And obviously, like, we're happy that the Switch is continuing to get supported. I think that's.
Well, I'm happy the Switch is getting supported, but if it's just going to be like Capcom's leftovers, then I'm not okay with that.
Like, well, and yeah, like like I feel like by the time Resident Evil 1 and 2 come out, it's like, all right, guys, like, we're past launch window. Enough with the ports. Let's get some real stuff here.
Yeah, these games are now 10 years old.
I would be totally fine if the next announcement though was, "Hey, we're bringing Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 to the Switch."
Well, they better freaking do
Even
that.
if it was just a downloadable version. I don't need a cartridge.
Yeah.
Just let me download it.
Yeah. Agreed. Right on. So, final story here, and then we got to get into what we've been playing. We've got lots to talk about there. Okay. 17% of Switch owners have installed the Nintendo Switch Online app.
That's not a good percentage.
This is something that I actually didn't anticipate when they announced that they were going to have an app, is the adoption rate. Right? Yeah. And there is a pretty significant barrier to entry, which means ain't nobody going to use it. Like, I actually did manage to get somebody to use it, but this is going to end up being a very obscure way to do voice chat with people. And I think a lot of people are just, they see the bad press and they're like, screw that, I'm not even going to download it. And especially if you don't, I wonder what the attach rate of Splatoon is. And if you were to look specifically at Splatoon owners and ask them how many have installed, because that's another important thing to know, right? Like, you can say 70% of all Switch owners. Yeah, but how many of those people, like, what's the attach rate for Splatoon? Because this is basically, it's only an accurate representation if you're looking at the people who have bought Splatoon.
Surely you don't think that it's the attach rate of Splatoon 2 is only 17%.
I don't think it is yet. It probably will be, but I don't think it's gotten there yet.
I would say, like, what's the Switch at now, sales wise?
4.7 million.
4.7, and I would say attach rate is probably around 25%, which would put, so if we were to say that half of the people who bought Splatoon have downloaded the Switch app, then you're realistically you're looking at a 50% attach or a 50% adoption rate of that voice chat app.
So if we use 4.7 million, 17% of that is almost 800,000.
Right. But what's the Splatoon? You can't go off of Switch sales. Right. You have to Splatoon.
Yeah, I don't know if Splatoon has sold 1 million yet. Has it?
I would assume it's close.
Yeah, I think it's close.
you could, yeah. So
But,
like,
I'm sure it will be there because I'm sure it'll end up outselling ARMS, which already is a million seller.
what is 17% of 4.7 million?
I just told you that answer.
That would be 799,000.
All right, there you go.
I just said that.
You really just said that? Okay.
I said
So-
almost 800,000.
Which, again, isn't that about what we would expect Splatoon to be at sales-wise?
It's very likely.
So if that's the case,
the small unscientific sample in my house, 3 Switches, 2 of them downloaded the app, 1 of them bought the game.
Yeah. See, so like initially, like this is where the reporting gets a little bit fishy to me, right? Where it's like, okay, but what are you actually like? What percentage of the Switch audience is actually even going to benefit from this app at all? And only people who have Splatoon will benefit from it currently. So, fake news is I don't know if it's fake news, but it helps kind of contextualize what is actually on the.
I would be
this
willing to say though that I would be willing to wager that Splatoon is a million seller now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
maybe they're not talking about it, but I would say that like maybe it's like, oh yeah, Splatoon sold this many copies, but by now it's gone over.
I think as soon as it hits that million, they're putting the press release out the next day. I think
yeah.
they'll announce it as soon as they happen. So that's why I don't think it's happened yet.
Yeah, I think as well something that's important to know is, okay, so let's say that 3/4 of the people who bought Splatoon got this app, hypothetically. What percentage of those people do it because, crap, I want to make sure that I get that cool gear that's got maybe some different abilities on it, versus how many people are using the voice chat? Because I bet you most of them are just getting on there to check the gear and to have it on their phone, and nobody's using that voice chat app. That would be my guess. I could be wrong. I actually used it over this week, and it worked pretty well. It worked decent once your game was set up, right? Like setting it up sometimes was kind of like, oh no, it's not working. Okay, let's start a new room. But once it was all set up, the voice chat in the game was fine. It was setting it up that was kind of a hassle, but it's definitely, they can't charge money for it yet. I'll tell you that much right now. Right. And I can see more and more why they postponed that. Like they cannot just take this service as it is and turn around and charge money for it, because that's not good enough. People aren't going to buy it. So I don't know. Any other thoughts on this, Marty? Like, I feel like how are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this? Are you Marty? Did we lose Marty?
We might have lost Marty. Oh, he said he was stepping away.
Oh, he did say that. Okay.
Both of us, neither of us are paying attention to chat now.
Yeah. Jesse, what about you though? Like, do you feel like it's is this fake news? That's my question. That's not a baited question, is it? I've
heard of worse. Like, Marty and I talked about this in the pre-show, or not, I would say the pre-show. There was, which I think this is fake news more, that the news article was 10% of DNA's employees are working on a Nintendo project. And my thought was, duh, Nintendo owns 10% of the company, so why not?
Yeah.
So that's fake news. This is an interesting statistic.
Mm-hmm.
Most people won't care.
It's a statistic too that's like, did the people writing the headlines, have they taken the time to contextualize this data?
Probably
right?
not. Most people don't.
I think that's the important thing.
Most journalists, gaming journalisms don't.
Yeah, they're more concerned about clicks. All right. Well, with that, I think we're not going to wait for Marty in order to get into what we've been playing.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Oh, good. Okay, well, we'll get right into it then. Let's go. right. So this week, there's several new games that came out. Well, 2 new games at least that came out, plus some hardware. If you guys follow us on YouTube, if you're subscribed, which you should, if you have pushed the little bell thingy that tells you that a new video came out, which you should, then you would know that Marty got a 2DS, new 2DS XL, and that's pretty exciting. Marty, I'm just going to turn it over to you for a minute.
So
XL, dude.
I decided to upgrade to the new 2DS XL mainly because my son needed to get a new system. He has a 2DS, and the SD card sensor was not working any longer in it, or it works very randomly. It goes out, and he can't play his games, or he can't access his save files. And so I decided I was going to upgrade to the new 2DS XL, and I was going to give him my new 3DS. And so far, I love the new 2DS XL. It feels great in the hand. The screens are gigantic. The whole
3DS XL.
I think they're on par with the same size, maybe just different, a little bit of a different dimension. But I
haven't looked up the official specs to verify it, but I think the screens are the same. But since the 2DS XL has an overall smaller footprint, it makes the screens seem bigger.
Okay.
Right.
Because there's less bezel.
I don't know, for our viewers on YouTube who are watching this, I don't know if you can see this, but this whole top screen of the 2DS it's like one glass panel.
It looks like an iPhone.
It does.
Half is an iPhone. It's crazy.
Yeah, and so basically it's like they took an old bezeled iPhone and stuck it on top of a mini Switch with non-removable Joy-Cons. And even down right to the fact that the home button is now over here.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And so
they got rid of all the bezel then. That's crazy.
But I was initially worried about it because I love my new 3DS, but I knew that we had to make the upgrade. And I didn't know that I wanted to go back to a larger model, but this one feels great. It weighs just about as much as the new 3DS does, so maybe just a little bit bigger, but it's almost like it's not there when you pick it up, which has led to some people saying it's cheap. I don't get that. I don't necessarily get that, because my question for those people would be, how much do you really want to get out of the 3DS? Like how much more can we squeeze out of it, I guess, without it being a Switch? So I don't know. I've been pleasantly surprised so far. I picked up Miitopia with it, and I'll let you talk about that some before I jump in. But I think if you're in the market for a new system, the new 2DS will fit there. I don't necessarily know that you just need to rush out and upgrade unless like you're in the situation I'm in, where you have a son, you have a child who wants the NFC reader for Amiibo and has can't access his save data half the time, and just wants something a little bit more big boy. I guess is one way of saying that. I mean, my son's 10 now. He's had the 2DS since he was 5, and so he's kind of moving up to the 3DS in a way. And so it just feels a little bit
to not have the weird eye warning for the 3D be applicable to him.
Yeah, he's super excited about being able to play in 3D.
He's not going to go cross-eyed if he has that.
Right.
So, question from the chat is, how well does it fit in your pocket?
I don't actually carry it in my pocket, and so I can't answer that. I carry it in the front flap of my backpack, which was big enough. Which was big enough for the new 3DS, and it's also big enough for this version as well. I like to carry my 3DS without a case because I slip it in my backpack so much. I do have like a 3DS style box that carries all my game cartridges. But I've got a ton of digital stuff, so I can't attest to how well it carries in that. But I will show you this. So here is an iPhone 7 Plus, right?
Right.
Here is the new the new 2DS XL. Check this out.
Wow.
Are they about the same size?
It's the same size as an iPhone 7 Plus, just thicker.
Now you're wanting me to do a comparison. Actually, the 3DS XL is about the same size too.
Yeah, and so I have a little bit of a case on this one, not much, and so it's just enough.
It's funny because I have a regular iPhone 7, and this is my 3DS, and it's like same deal. That's funny, except the hinge, right? Like to the hinge. But my one issue with the design of the new 2DS XL is the hinge that like sticks out like a booty. I don't know. I don't know.
It is, and it does take away. I mean, like, imagine if that wasn't there.
Well, and the little camera like kind of
super sleek
and is exposed when it's closed, which is
there's that, and then you've got the two back cameras that are actually right on the back of the device now, right here.
Yeah,
but other than that, the only other thing that I don't like is this. Let me show you something. Look at the stylus.
Yeah. I never use the styluses that come with it.
The stylus
I like
is
my bigger
awful.
pen
Okay,
here.
so like see this? Okay, so when I put it in my big old hands, this is how much stylus I have.
That's amazing. Which
It's
I mean,
ridiculous.
Metopia actually uses the stylus quite a bit too, right? Like,
And
well, I don't use it. You
can
take these in and out of the safe zone. Is the best way to use the stylus there.
Yeah.
But you can get through the rest of the game without using it.
And Hey Pikmin is all stylus.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy a longer stylus, or go steal my Wii U one.
I use a bigger stylus that's about the same size as what came with the DSi XL.
Yours looks like one from like a bamboo tablet or something. Like
yeah,
it's like a full pen size.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Compared to a normal pen,
So would you say, Marty? Would you say that it's that the new 2DS XL? If you had to rank them, like, is it worth is it $50 extra to get the 3DS XL?
It's it's $149.99, and I would say because the comparison on the screens from the 2DS to this, it's ridiculous. It's 82% larger.
Right, from the 2DS to the 2DS XL.
Yes.
What about from the new 2DS?
I think they're the same.
3DS XL.
I think they're the same, but what you're paying for with the new 3DS XL, you're literally paying $50 extra for 3D.
Right. And the screens, I think, are a little bit brighter too, are they not? I think.
No, these are very bright. I mean, I wouldn't want to say they're probably as bright as the what's in the XL, the 3DS XL.
Okay. Yeah. So that's so it's a recommend is what I'm hearing.
Yes, definitely. I mean, again, it makes some sacrifices. It cuts a few corners, but it gets the job done, and you can play all the 3DS games on it. And like you said, Nintendo's probably not making many 3D screens anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Right on. So then you picked up Metopia.
Yes.
How far are you into Metopia?
All my characters are level 12, and okay. I am in the Nightmare Tower.
Okay. So the first kingdom?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I am in I think I'm at the end of the second kingdom, and this game is how do I put it? What are your impressions of it? Maybe I should go with that first, because you're less far into the game than I am. And we can kind of get like your impressions of the first part of the game, and then I will kind of say as the game kind of goes on.
Okay, so I play the demo.
Yep.
And I enjoyed the demo, and enough to go buy the game. Actually, what happened was I went and picked up my new 2DS, and I actually bought the game for my son. And I hoped that there was more than one save file on it. There is not. Nintendo, you've got to stop doing this to us. I don't want to buy.
It's so dumb.
400 copies of a game just so that can store. Can
have more than one save file. The thing is, like, any game that you buy for the Switch, you can have a save file for each account on the Switch, right? Like it puts the save file on on the 3DS or whatever, right? Like I don't
Right,
understand.
sure.
Like come on.
I don't understand it either. It makes no sense. They do it with Pokemon. They do it with this. They did it with Tomodachi Life. Jesse, did they do this with Hey Pikmin?
There are 3 save slots in Hey Pikmin.
Oh, thank God, because I don't want to buy 2 copies of that. But anyway, so I bought him Miitopia, and I just sat all day and heard him talk about it. And he was giggling and just having a great time. And I was like, you know what? I'm fine. I'm just going to buy it. So I downloaded it digitally. I went back through the game without porting over my demo data.
Yeah, I played the whole demo, and they were like, "Oh, do you want to continue from where you left off in the demo?" I was like, "No, that's from all."
No, I want to go back and do it again.
There's like 5 kingdoms in that game or whatever, and like they let you play through half of the first one in the demo. That's like a 10th of the game. I don't want to. Like, I want to play through this whole game.
I'm probably going to just let it continue.
Well, so here's my initial thought on this game was. Just playing through the demo, I was like, I don't know. It might be good. It might not be. I enjoyed what I got. And then just like taking that and ramping it up to 11 by kind of expanding into the whole game and seeing some of the humor behind it. I kind of have just utterly fallen in love with this game. In a way that I did not think I would. And it's done 2 things that really surprised me. Number one, from Friday of last week until today, I did not touch my Switch once.
Whoa.
All I have played is Miitopia. The second thing it has done is it has reawakened a love of RPGs in my life. And mainly because like most modern RPGs, and I'm looking at you, Final Fantasy 12 and 13 and 15 are just these just bloated monstrosities of systems and gear and menus and all other kind of crap. This strips role-playing games down to the essentials. Equip a weapon, equip an outfit, go out, kill some monsters, have a great time.
Yeah.
Level up, get some powers, find a way to make all your people like each other so that you can bounce powers off of each other. It's fantastic. And just like all of my characters are level 12 and they're all my family. So I have like me, my wife, and my 2 kids.
That's what I did too.
And in my game, my wife and I's relationship is now at a level 31.
Wow.
Yeah,
See, because I was trying to balance the relationship so they're all the same, but maybe it's better to just leave it.
Well, what's happening is like characters are peeling off and like having interactions as we go through like different things that's actually raising their level too. So like we have a 31, like my kids' relationship is like a 14, and then everybody else has like a 2 in between them, or a 3 or a 4. But
Right.
The other thing that's helped with that is that in the midst of that, I've gotten a golden flag on every level that I've played through. I do not move on until I've found every path.
Okay.
So I have found tons of items and gold and weapons. And what I've ended up doing is getting a lot of game tickets that have landed on the luxury or budget cruise options. And that's what's gotten that relationship so high.
By the way, I sat down with all of my amiibo, and I don't know if you've tried amiibo in this game yet.
No, I have not.
So I will see if I can show you. Basically what it does is, you know how you can edit the appearance of your, so you have like your gear, but then you have edit your appearance, right? Which will let you like use an old gear or whatever. I'll see if I can show this via Skype.
Oh, I remember this from the demo, and I thought that
Oh, wow.
that guy was kind of annoying.
Right, or yeah, so like you could have like a Mario outfit. If you scan an amiibo that does not have a like an attached outfit, then it automatically gives you 3 tickets. So I scanned all of them, and by the time I was done, I had like 40 tickets or something.
Oh,
like that.
I need to do that.
So and I don't know if that's a daily thing or not, but it's pretty slick. So, yeah. So I think at the end of every world, it allows you. I think it unlocks more jobs. I just unlocked like a bunch of new jobs. I have my guy, and it also lets you reclass and all sorts of stuff like that. So my guy initially was the thief, and then now he's like a mad scientist. And the different kinds of items that they give you. So like the weapon for the scientist starts off with like a flask. Then there's like a little test tube. Then he had a ketchup bottle for a while. Then he had a baby bottle. And now he has what looks like, they say poison flask, but it's a brown bottle with a little yellow label and a skull on it, which is more like it almost looks like a whiskey bottle, frankly. I don't know.
The current weapon that I have for the warrior is called the utility sword, and it's basically an X-Acto knife.
Nice.
Like a long length of X-Acto knife taped onto a wooden stick.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
So
love and that's the thing is like this game has such a quirky sense of humor, about it, like within, like even in the outfits and just in the different things. Like there's like, if you've been playing for a while, it'll come up and it'll be like, do you want to continue? And like the scene that it had was like one character like doing all these poses, like, like making muscles or like sticking their butt out. And then the other character is asleep. And then if you hit continue, both their eyes pop open like in surprise, and they can get stuck with the butt stuck out pose. And it's just bizarre. I mean, it's weird. It's kind of like you can kind of tell the like the Japanese humor of it all.
Oh,
but this has got to be the same like team that did Tomodachi Life.
It's got to be.
Yeah. Pretty sure this is a spiritual successor.
Yeah, I think it's a great, as far as like, if you liked Tomodachi Life, you will like this for the similar kind of humor. I don't necessarily think that it's, like Tomodachi Life was not it was not a game that you played for the gameplay. It was, you played it for the silliness, right? And that's basically what this one is too. I'm at the end of the second one, and I do feel like, and I remember thinking, like seeing the reviews saying, really docking it for once the novelty of the game goes on, then really the only thing driving you forward is, okay, what kind of ridiculous scenarios are happening, because you are you're basically balanced. The gameplay doesn't change a whole lot. You get new jobs, and you maybe find out what the different jobs are for different, or which ones are good for different things. But you don't necessarily ever get a good idea, or you don't get a whole lot of challenge out of it, obviously. So right now, a big part of the draw is, okay, well, what's going to happen next? And I'm seeing here, I just finished the second world, and I'm noticing that King Marty is in the distance over here on my map, and I'm like, oh geez, okay, so I got to figure out what's going on, because King Marty's sitting over in the corner here, which I told Marty this before, but it asks you like, okay, what's the king? Who do you want to be the king? And I like have all of the Nintendo Dads me's on here, and I was like, okay, well, Justin's the Dark Lord, obviously, because for obvious reasons, and I've got to have somebody for Marty and Jesse and whatever, and trying to get, just picking different me's that fit roles or whatever, and I didn't have any, and like somebody came up for the king. I was like, oh, Marty can be the king. That'd be funny. And then like I select him, and immediately it's like this huge obese man who's eating like turkey legs and whatever. And I was just like, oh geez, that's not what I intended at all. But it's also really funny. And so many of the roles like that, there is a lot of humor in putting people into roles that are intentionally written to be ridiculous. So in the first kingdom, there are two princes. Is Josh Thomas still in the chat, by the way, from the BitBlock? I know he was in here earlier. So there are two princes that are in the game, and I selected him and Roger to be the two princes, and they are warring for the affections of this princess who is Princess Peach in my game. So Roger was like this sort of, like the classic sort of like, oh, well, he's like the one who really has the princess's heart, and Josh was like the whiny prince who the king wanted to have married the princess or whatever. And it was
Mine is Princess Leia being fought over by the whiny Prince Waluigi and her, vagabond love Parappa the Rapper.
Oh boy.
Oh man, that's awesome. So it's really fun, and like I have the little guy who scans your amiibos. I have his Reggie in here, so like so it's like the first one's like, oh, it's Reggie in a Mario outfit, but then in the second one it was like, oh, it's Reggie in a Peach outfit. Okay, so Reggie's dressed up as Peach this time. It's really fun. I do like it. I can see how it would get old. Like I will be honest with that. Like if you were not a big fan of Tomodachi Life, then this may not be the game for you, right? Like Tomodachi Life, the weird me humor, stuff like that. If you don't kind of giggle during that original Find Me game, right? With like your me with like weird hair or something, this may not be for you. But
yeah, I definitely think this is one that it requires a demo for you to you need to play the demo.
And if you don't find the demo endearing, then steer clear, because that 90% of the draw is just the weird humor and the character design and the classes and stuff like that. So, yeah, I do have I should look to see what just go through my photos here, because some of the it does similar to Animal Crossing and Tomodachi Life. It does have a photo log, and so, or a photo picture. Wow, a photo button, so you can take a picture of your top screen and it will like keep all of your screenshots. And I have been using that very liberally, and I have lots of ridiculous pictures of Marty and of Justin and who's your sage, by the way? Do you know?
Oh gosh, shoot. Iwata.
Oh, okay, very cool. Mine is Stanley. So Stanley is my sage, and it's just there's so much silliness in the game, and it's just very endearing. So do you have anything to add about that?
No, I mean, if you're looking for a non-typical game that's not just more of the same, I think this may be what you're looking for. It's kind of come out of left field, and done its thing. But I really agree with you that if you don't like Tomodachi Life, then stay away. But you need to go download the demo. It's free, and you're not losing anything by downloading the demo. You're just able to see if you like it. So yep. I will say I cautiously but optimistically recommend the game after you download the demo and try it out.
Yeah, it is more of that. Yeah, it's not like it changes drastically, for sure. Very cool. Jesse, the other game that came out this week was Hey Pikmin, and you did play that too, right?
Yeah, I've actually almost finished it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I got into World 7 and actually got stuck on 7B, and put a feeler out on Twitter, hoping people would reply, and got no reply back. So I actually ended up saying either no one's gotten this far, no one's playing it, or no one cares. And I think Adam Leonard said maybe all three. But I eventually did get help from someone and was able to pass that level. And I thought I was finishing the game, but no, then the game gave me World 8. I'm like, crap, there's more. I just want this game to be over. So I am enjoying the game. I liked it, but I have several issues with it that's kind of eating at me. First one is, have you seen the Pikmin shorts that they put out around when Pikmin 3 was new?
Yep, absolutely.
Did you watch all of them?
Yep.
Would you want to watch them more than once?
Maybe the short ones.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, the smoothie one where they think that he's making smoothies out of Pikmin. I think that one's really funny, and I've watched that one a few times.
I started watching them and actually never watched the one that was the longest one. Just because I'm really tired of this already. I wanted to do something else. In the mid level, the game will just stop, and you'll get like a little mini, like a short, like a Pikmin short, and sometimes it's useful. It's like a little tutorial. Ooh, Pikmin's bouncing on a flower, so if I throw a Pikmin up on a flower, I'll know they'll bounce. So that's educational. You get something from it. Great. Sometimes they're just meaningless time wasters, and but getting near the end of the game, I just want this thing to be done, and I don't want the game to stop for another 30-second video that doesn't give me anything anymore. So those are kind of biting at me, and these happen 7-8 times a level.
Oh wow! Like per level or per world?
Per stage.
7 or 8 times per stage?
Yeah. Maybe not 7 or 8, but at least 5 per stage.
Oh my gosh!
And each world.
That's a very odd design choice.
It is. Again, as I said, I can understand it early on in the game when it's actually tutorializing something. That is useful information. By World 8, I've learned everything. I don't care. Just let me play it. Each world has 5 stages with stage E being the boss. But one of the stages in each world has a Super Mario World like alternate exit, which brings you to the stage X of that world. So each world has 6 stages. And the fact that's one other thing that bothered me is how they incorporated the second exit, and it's usually right at the tail end. Like I have a choice between I can go left or right, both lead to an exit. One will lead the normal exit, one will lead to the alternate exit. But if I finish it and then want to get to the other exit, I've got to play the whole level over again. Where at least if the alternate exit is somewhere near the middle, like a lot of Super Mario World levels are, they're right in the middle of the stage. You don't have to finish the level twice. So it's not incentivizing me to want to replay the level just to get to the second exit. I'm to the point where I just want to finish the game. So trying to think of what else I wanted to say about it. I got to the. Initially you're told you need to collect 30,000 of whatever the MacGuffin is for this game for energy, and as soon as you have it, they're like, "Oh, and we need a part for your ship." Well, why didn't you say that in the beginning? So apparently, I'm not going to get this part until the very end of the game.
So my concern with this game is that my concern was that it was. It seemed a little bit boring, is maybe a provocative word to use, because it seemed very slow. Are you finding that? Like, I know there's a fine line between there's what is your preference? Like, is it like more, sort of space and contemplative and it's just relaxing?
I'd say no, relaxing isn't a good word for it. I would use the term methodical.
Okay.
And there is that fine line between methodical and boring.
Yeah.
But each, and someone asked in the chat, how long is a single level? I'd say early on, 5 to 10 minutes. Later on, it gets more closer to 10 or 15 minutes. So they're not.
Oh my gosh, almost too long. Maybe not.
That's kind of my complaint going back to. Yeah, this stage has 2 alternate exits. I don't want to play this again for another 15 minutes just to get to the second exit. I just want to go on. Mm-hmm. All right, so each stage, you start each stage with no Pikmin. As you play through each stage, you can gather up to 20 Pikmin. And then if you are able to finish the stage with 20 Pikmin without ever losing any, then you get a message saying, hey, you did it without losing any. I don't think there's any other reward other than that happy message. And if you lose a few early on, you do have the ability to find more to fill up those gaps. But once on level 7-4, I had 16, and I literally lost all 16 of them. And then I found the last 4, and I finished the level with. And then I got like 2 more to that filled the holes. So I ended up finishing the level with the 6. And I'm like, I really don't care to try to do this again and just get all the 20. Earlier on, I probably would have, but at this point, I'm like, I just want to finish this game. So again, I know it sounds like I'm not liking it, but I am liking it. It's just it worn out its welcome, and I do want to finish it. It's just I want it to be in a hurry. Very much like a Professor Layton game or an Ace Attorney game. I'm just sick of the gameplay. I just want to finish the story, and then I'll just play the last chapter with a walkthrough just to finish the story. That's kind of what I'm feeling like here. I'm tired of the gameplay. I just want to finish the story and just say I've finished it.
Yeah.
But if you like Pikmin, give it a try. I did enjoy the majority of the game. It was just a few things that I didn't care for.
Right. Very cool. I did pick up this here, by the way. I don't know if you picked this up.
I did not.
For the audio listeners, it is the Pikmin amiibo. I picked it up because it was just like, I thought it was pretty cool.
It's the best amiibo that Nintendo has ever produced.
I think Marty also has one. Yeah, Marty, you both
down
are holding it.
Yeah.
The best amiibo that they have made, period.
I love the little dude hanging out, because whenever they show it like this, right? And what you don't know is that if you rotate it, you get the little rock Pikmin dude who's just like slacking off in the back. I think it's awesome. It's such a cool amiibo. Like they've come so far in the quality of these things. It's crazy.
Oh,
so
one more thing I did want to mention about the game is there's a non-combat stage called Pikmin Park.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That has various zones where initially you had to have access to 1 or 2 zones, and as you clear them, more zones will open up. And so you'll start out with, like, the first zone will have grass, and any Pikmin can pick through grass. So at the Pikmin you collect throughout the game, whatever you end with at the stage gets dumped into the park.
Like the extra Pikmin, you mean?
Yeah, like all the Pikmin. If you end the level with 20, you send all 20 to the park. If you end the stage with 1, only 1 will go to the park. So whatever you end the level with goes to the park. And then the next stage always starts with 0. And so it starts you with a fresh group. Then these Pikmin will pick through grass, or the flying ones will pick through areas on top of stones, bricks that no one else can reach. Or the yellow ones can pick through electrical fields. The blue ones can pick through water, things like that. And they're all just searching for more of the energy that you're collecting, or more objects that can be turned into the energy that all add into your 30,000 total by the end of the game. So, and that's kind of another thing that I didn't like about it was whenever, at the end of a stage, if I get a message saying the Pikmin found something, go to the park, I get this picture of one of the zones with the new Pikmin joining their friends. I'm like, this is just wasting 20 seconds of my time. And it doesn't sound like much, but you see this about 30 times. And it adds up. This is that part just could have been skipped altogether, and no one would have known.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit of extra thing. I've completed the park. Everything's been picked through, and then magically just more shiny stuff just spawns that I can send Pikmin to claim. I'm like, what's the point of this now? I don't get it.
But it's not like it's not clear what that is. Like what you're.
No, it's just the shiny collectible is just there to be grabbed. They don't have to search for it anymore. It'll just spawn. And I got 10 more shinies.
And the shinies do
whatever the energy is that I'm collecting.
Oh, the sparklium or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very cool.
So, another game.
Anything?
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. What were you gonna say? Anything else that you've been playing? Like, is that everything else that you had?
I played a little bit of Namco Museum.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I didn't play much of it yet, but my son and I did try to play Pac-Man Versus.
Did he download like the free companion app or whatever?
Yes, he downloaded the companion app, which only works with Pac-Man Versus.
Oh, it does. I thought it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing else is 2-player.
Right.
So, and it's the same game as GameCube version. You know, if you remember the GameCube version, it could play up to 4 players, where player 4 was always Pac-Man on the GBA, and the other players, whether it's either 1 or 3, were played ghosts on the TV. And whoever ghost captured the Pac-Man to end its life became the new Pac-Man. So you'd shuffle the controllers around, so that new Pac-Man still has player 4. So Pac-Man is always player 4. But it made sense on the GameCube because that's how that worked. I don't like how they handled this on the Switch. So we played it with 2 switches in handheld mode, which did limit it to 2 players, which is fine. Though they probably still could have allowed up to 3 players to be played on the Ghost Switch. But again, you are huddling 3 people around one Switch. But maybe the fact that it was in handheld mode, it knew that. And that if it was in tabletop mode, it might have allowed more. But we didn't test that. But so I set up the game as the game server, and then the free app logged in as the game client. And the way it works is the main game is always the Pac-Man, and then the other switch is always the Ghost.
Okay.
So when we took turns, we had to swap switches. Where I think they could have just easily swapped modes along the same switch because we're only in 2-player game. But it didn't do that. You know, and of course, to have the full experience, you'd want the Ghost switch docked to a TV where you can have all 3 people watching it on the TV, and then the Pac-Man would be on the handheld switch, and then you'd be passing around controllers just like you did in the GameCube.
Right.
So again, that situation makes sense, but in a 2-player situation, I don't understand why they couldn't have just switched modes and we didn't have to trade systems.
Yeah.
That just felt weird.
That does seem weird.
Though when we played it, we were initially maybe 10, 15 feet apart.
And does it...
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to ask, does it like only allow the person with the full retail version of the game to have a certain role, or does that can either person choose that? Like, I wonder if that,
the retail game has to be the server.
Right, but like, can the retail game be Pac-Man or the other one, or like a Ghost? I've never played this game, so I'm
okay.
Like, I'm thinking back on like when you would play in Mario Kart, you could only ever be a shy guy. You know what I mean? Like, is that part of what's at play here?
No, that's actually part of how the game is played. If we had 2 full retail copies, one person is still the host, one person is still has to connect to it. The host is Pac-Man, always. The other system is always the Ghost, and then you trade systems back and forth as needed. It's just in this model where only one retail copy exists and the other is playing the freebie has to connect to the host.
Right.
It cannot be the host itself. That's the only difference. Other than that, the gameplay is the same.
Okay.
It's always one Pac-Man with up to 3 ghosts. Mm-hmm. 3 ghosts are sharing one display, and Pac-Man has its own display.
Okay. That makes sense. Very cool. So
we were playing maybe 10 feet away from it, and then when we went to needing to trade our systems as we switched roles, we got disconnected.
Ugh.
So we had to relog in, and we played like 3 feet away from each other. And that time we were able to do it.
Yeah.
And so I got as much excitement out of it as I did playing the original GameCube version. It's good for a few games, but it gets old quick. Unless you have it may be fun for a party game when you have 4 people who haven't played it before.
Mm-hmm.
To just say, hey, let's try this. But it's not something that me and my family would go back to every weekend or something.
Right.
Yeah. And then I did play a little bit of like the single player Pac-Man, and I've always been bad at Pac-Man, and especially since I've been, whenever I see a Pac-Man machine, in an arcade, it's usually got a speed up hack installed, which makes the game a little easier. So going back to a original coded Pac-Man ROM, I play even worse than I did back when that was the only thing I knew how to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get very far. So I might go back and try some of the other games. A lot of those games I've never even played in an arcade. But I did play a little bit of Dig Dug, got to like the 5th or 6th stage, which is usually as far as I ever get.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Very cool.
yeah.
Awesome. All right, I'm looking at the time here, and I want to make sure that we get to these emails real quick here. Anything else, Marty, that you want to add? I guess we've been playing Splatoon still. It's still fun.
Yeah, playing Splatoon. Definitely going to hop on Splatfest this weekend and play with fans and everyone else. Go Team Mayo.
I did get to play with Team Mayo. Gross. Team Lard is I'm just gonna keep that. So I would say I did play Salmon Run finally, and that is probably my favorite part of this game. And they just recently, because it's every month, there's a new piece of gear that's up for grabs over there. So the little polo shirt is no longer there. So hopefully you got it. But now this month it's like a hard hat, like a miner's hat or something like that. So you can go and do that. But that is a really, really fun mode. And I actually played online using the Nintendo Switch app. I tweeted out a link and got 2 people from our community in. So something works with that. It works. But the fact that like if you've got, I had lots of people that saw that link and I didn't even get a full room. So we'll see how that goes, but it is a really, really fun mode. And I'm, it's awesome. I'm really looking forward to Splatfest too. That's going to be a good time. And just in time for my son to come home too. So he'll be able to choose that as well. So that'll be fun. I think that's pretty much all we need to say about that. Let's head into some very quick listener mail, shall we?
Let's do it.
And of course, our Postman segment is brought to you by OneUpBox.com. If you go over to OneUpBox.com and use the code NintendoDads, you will get $3 off your first order, and you will get a box full of geeky goodness delivered straight to your door, which you should absolutely be doing. So, thank you, OneUpBox, for your support. Marty, do you want to read this first one here?
Yeah. This is an email from Jamie. And he says this: "Hey, greetings, Nintendo Dads. There were actually some My Nintendo rewards that we got to enjoy in anticipation for Hey Pikmin on 3DS, the Pikmin Shorts HD, and the Pikmin 3 DLC challenge stages. Did any of you purchase that content initially? If so, what was your opinion of it? One more question on Hey Pikmin. My 5-year-old has been looking forward to Pikmin 4 all year. It's okay. He thinks the original Pikmin is Pikmin 5. I imagine he'll work for Xbox someday. Haha. We've been passing my Ocarina 3DS back and forth playing the game. It is apparent that the gotcha of Hey Pikmin is having the player use Amiibo to call more Pikmin because there's no onion to harvest more men after defeating enemies. What other types of games do you think will get the paywall treatment using Amiibo? It's not quite microtransactions, but it sure is close. Thanks for creating excellent content on a variety of gaming and parenting topics. I always look forward to your uploads on YouTube and on the podcast. And Jamie, to you, we say thank you for supporting us and enjoying the show. So this has been a bit of a controversy lately. In fact, I was just scrolling through my timeline on Facebook just a minute ago and saw a video from IGN Game Scoop podcast where they're talking about Samus Returns and Metroid, about basic features of the game being locked behind and basically an amiibo wall.
The sound player, the hard mode.
I believe there's an art gallery that's unlocked by Amiibo too. The thing with that is, two of those Amiibo are going to be available day and date with the game. The other problem with that though is presumably, yeah. I mean, Splatoon Amiibo are still not available, and I mean, I had to have Colin pick me one up, the Inkling Girl. So the other two Amiibo have been out of rotation for quite a long time, in Samus and Zero Suit Samus.
I think they're
so. I mean, Samus has recently made a return, I think, in the last few months, but Zero Suit Samus has been off shelves for a while. So to answer your question, what other types of games do we think will get the paywall treatment? I say all of them, all the games. And I'm going to call it right here and right now. If they ever make another Advance Wars game, it will get this treatment with an Advance Wars amiibo. For calling in more troops.
Oh my gosh, dude. Can you imagine like the little dudes that are like the Smash Trophy in Smash Brothers? Basically like a Pikmin version of that, where they're like all the little sprite dudes.
Yeah, but it's made like the Mr. Game & Watch, where they're flat.
Oh, dude, I would die.
I mean, I would be done. But if we ever get another game like that, then I fully expect to see something like that. I don't know. What about you?
Well, I was gonna bring up the Metroid thing is already there. Pokemon, they're not going to do that, which I think is good. Splatoon, I'm just thinking of other games, like what games are coming up. It's nice that Splatoon actually backpedaled on that. In Splatoon 1, they did put pretty significant paywall or pretty significant content behind a paywall with the additional challenge stages where you could use the charger or the roller or whatever.
And you get exclusive gear that can't be available anywhere else.
You can still do that the Amiibo still give gear, which I'm totally fine with, but they don't hold any levels back, right? Like any gameplay.
Right.
Games that are coming up.
Yeah, Odyssey probably won't.
Odyssey might. Again, I think what do you think those wedding Amiibo are going to do though? Like, are they going to give you mushrooms?
That's right. I completely forgot that they are. Yeah, I don't know. I'll take that back then. I don't know though. About the Samus Returns game, what I'm kind of thinking is, while all these pieces are locked behind specific Amiibo, I also think everything will be unlocked if you beat the game. No one has the game yet to know if that's going to be true, and we probably won't know it until after embargoes are done and the game is released. But I am probably 80% confident that they will still allow someone without the Amiibos to unlock this content. You just have to put forth the effort first.
Yeah. Here's another one, maybe, that's coming in the fall, is Fire Emblem Warriors. They could potentially lock. I don't know if they'd lock characters behind it, but they in Hyrule Warriors they locked that spinner weapon behind it.
Sure did.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they unlocked like a costume or maybe even a character, because there are already so many characters in that game.
But here's the deal. Do we not see this being kind of like the natural evolution of what Amiibo was and is becoming? I mean, what else? Like, okay, so far what we've had with Amiibo basically is a training buddy for Smash, right? A place to store your gear for Splatoon,
Yeah.
And some
the-
special items and different things.
Yep.
And the ability to roll the dice in Animal Crossing boring board game.
Not the ability, the requirement.
The requirement. Well, that's what I'm. You know, it took them to work. So my thing is this is like we've kind of exhausted the pool of things that we can do that don't directly affect the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, like Mario,
unless,
another big one.
Unless you just want them to be costumes forever, which is lame. It's not good. I mean, arguably the best amiibo integration so far that we've gotten is Mario Maker.
Mm.
So
I would say the amiibo integration in Breath of the Wild is pretty slick. I do like that.
Well, that's true. Yeah. So, but now the thing is,
it's a significant bonus too, right?
It is a significant bonus, but I mean, when it comes down to it, it's just giving you items. And you could argue that Mario Maker is just giving you costumes, but that unlocked a whole different way to make, for a lot of people, it unlocked a whole different game because they started making Zelda levels, or they started making F-Zero levels or whatever,
and you could unlock these things without the amiibo if you put forth effort into playing the game.
That's very true.
And I think now Pikmin, right? That's the issue with Pikmin, because there is no way to do it.
So right? Now, like, we have this thing where it's like the next level of this has to be content that you can only get via the amiibo. Because I mean, what drives a sale? You get what I'm saying? Like, we're past the stage where, finally, cool, high quality Nintendo statues. Yeah, I think we're kind of over that. We're 3 years into the game.
I have so many now that
I do too. Like, I don't even know how many I have. So my question is like, what do they do to drive that? And I think this is it. I think you start doing things like, oh yeah, I bet you'd really like an art gallery, huh? Well, I bet you need. How about you need a Samus amiibo for that?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. Or you start making premium amiibo, because remember, like, when you first started getting amiibo, like the I guess the draw was, hey, it really looks like Mario. You know, it's a big deal that Nintendo's finally making toys or whatever, that these statues that look really cool. But by now, what have we got to? We've got Guardian amiibo with posable arms. We've got Pikmin amiibo with all kinds of crazy detail on them, and we're getting a Metroid amiibo that's squishy.
We had a plush Yoshi amiibo.
Plush Yoshi amiibos. Yeah, so like, it's kind of, we almost had a transforming R-Wing amiibo. So
mind me, dude. That was
so we're seeing an evolution of it. and so I guess my point is, and I guess it's a little long and protracted, sorry, is that there's got to be an evolution for what the content is that's being offered, or eventually the public's just going to say, well, that's not worth it to hunt all these things down. You've got your collectors that are going to do it, but just, Joe Blow over here, why am I going to buy this? What's my reason to buy this? Yeah. If I'm just like, oh yeah, this Pikmin game looks cool. Oh, they've got a little toy for it too. What's my motivation?
Yeah, it would be. I think it is. Honestly, I do think that it is still the main motivation is, hey, that's a cool little thing I can put on my shelf. And for people who have 1 million of them, then they're like, But I think part of the thing to keep in mind too is that there is a very big percentage of the population who didn't have a Wii U, didn't pick up on all these Smash Brothers amiibos. And when I was at Best Buy tonight, like standing outside of Best Buy helping a friend buy a computer, there was somebody walking out there, a dad and a son, and he had a Switch under his arm and a copy of Splatoon and an amiibo, right? And so like they're like, it's all part of the same deal there, right? And so there are still people getting into the ecosystem. And it is, I think that there is still a value in having the little tchotchke thing to have on your shelf for a kid, especially, right? And then also to have some sort of functionality, so that they can feel like they're a part of the buzz and a part of the zeitgeist, if you will. But you're right, they do need to have I think every amiibo needs to justify itself. And I'll be honest, we talking earlier about Miitopia, I had a blast sitting down with all my amiibos and one at a time scan it and hey, look at that. This one gave me a Ness costume and put that aside, right? And like there's still value in the fact that that there are costumes that I don't have that I'm like, oh, I don't have this particular amiibo. Crap, that would be cool to have.
I'll let you mention that, and I wanted to ask you about it before, but I forgot. Did they streamline the process of using all those amiibos in Miitopia at that point? Or is it still as clunky as it was in the demo?
It's as clunky as it was in the demo.
Yeah, which probably means I'm not going to even bother, because I didn't like how
it
was like 7 button pushes in order to scan one amiibo.
Yep. Yeah, it was very, and it kicks you all the way back out to the map, and and then it makes you do it again. But yeah, so I don't know. But it is still, I can still understand why people get upset that it is locking stuff that we are used to getting anyways. It's locking it behind a paywall, which kind of sucks. So but thanks for your email, Jamie. I'll very quickly read this next one here. Says, lately, this is Brandon, and it says, lately I've been playing rounds of Splatoon 2 while waiting to get through the intro. I've been playing rounds of Splatoon 2 while waiting to get through the intro and loading screen of Crash Bandicoot, which is hilarious. I hate it when the stages change. Do I really have to sit through that spiel every time? Let me off the hook for a change. Why is this necessary? These game intros are annoying. Let me play already. So we know we have people at Nintendo who listen. So we will forward that message to them. Please, where I think what is it?
Please understand.
That's all we got. So, all right, everybody. So that is, those are our emails this week. Thank you, everybody. If you want to email us, nintendodads@gmail.com is the address for the show. Any final thoughts, everybody? I am excited. I'm just gonna. Where are we? What is it again?
Well, I kind of wanted to do a little shout out.
Go for it.
It's I got I noticed one day I got a new follow on my Twitter account, and it was from a group called Nintendo Directors Podcast. I kind of took a look at their Twitter account, and they had 6 followers. It was the 4 of us, as the Nintendo Dads channel and the Mega Dads channel. So I'm thinking, I bet they're taking inspiration from what we do and doing their own spin on it, which is great. So these are 2 people from Michigan who are high school band directors.
That's right. You told me about this. That's awesome.
And then they started their own show. So they have 1 episode out there so far. They said they're going to be recording an episode every other week. So I figured, if you're looking for another group's take on what you hear from us, give them a listen.
Very cool. Right on. All right. Well, everybody, I'm going to pull an audible this week. Actually, no, I'm not going to. Well, all I'm going to do is just have a reminder for everybody
Take it to the fridge.
that everybody should be playing Donkey Kong 64. Because that is what won, and I'm actually really excited. So everybody, absolutely Donkey Kong rap, very cool. So that is so dumb. So thank you everybody for voting for that. Retro Rewind, that will be going. We're going to spend the month of August playing Donkey Kong 64, and we will record that at the beginning of September. So. Go and play that nonsense and enjoy it. Marty, enjoy it. Have you played it before? Oh, is he there? He's muted.
Yeah, I actually owned it for Nintendo 64 back in the day, and I think I probably played it about 3 or 4 times.
See, I got to the part where they make you beat the original Donkey Kong game in order to progress further in the game, and I couldn't play that game and I got stuck.
What?
So there's a part of the game where in order to progress you have to beat the original Donkey Kong, like the original arcade game. And I
just
I
the
got
girder and rivets, or all four?
I think it was just the original one even. But I was young when I
Okay.
played. I was not very good. I can't remember, but that there is a place where like in order to progress you had to beat that. So
Yeah.
I
don't think I've ever owned this game because I never.
I'm so excited for you.
Yes. And I don't think I've ever played this game because the game. I remember the game came with a memory pack because there's a story behind that. We'll probably just save that for the episode. And I remember never having the memory pack until I borrowed a game from a friend of mine from work. I think it was like the Gauntlet.
Gauntlet 64, I think, and Perfect Dark also really needed that expansion pack.
I never played Perfect Dark either, but he lent me his Gauntlet game, and then with his memory pack, so I was able to play that, and then ended up returning it, and so I don't think I ever owned a memory pack.
Yeah, that's super cool. Right on. So I'm excited. Everybody go play that. Enjoy it. But by the way, the Donkey Kong rap actually was, I think, the first documented time where a Nintendo game, a first-party Nintendo game, like straight up used a swear word in the opening thing. In the DK rap, he only uses the H word. But yeah, I remember coming in a very, being in a very, having very conservative-ish parents and like, oh, they said that. That's a bad word. I remember that. So anyways, enjoy that. Enjoy the vulgarity, the PG vulgarity. Good times. All right. Well,
back when Mortal Kombat violence was outrageous.
Yeah. Team Tomato Jam for the win. Right on. So, thank you everybody for listening to this episode of Nintendo Dads. Huge thanks to our Patreon producer, Dave. And of course, if you want to support the show, go over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. And just like all those people over there, you can support the show too. If you want to follow us on all of the social medias, you can do so on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram at Nintendo Dads. If you want to email us, you can do so nintendodads@gmail.com. Find our videos and watch our faces over at Twitch and, of course, YouTube. Just look for Nintendo Dads and you will find us. If you want to call in and leave us a voicemail, which you never do, you never call anymore, call and leave us a voicemail, 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. If you want to buy some Nintendo Dads merch, go to tiny.cc/Nintendo Dads store. And if you want to change the world, go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. Written reviews are even better. And of course, if you want to subscribe, you can do so on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and of course, VGTribune.com. For me, for Jesse, for Marty, and the missing Justin, we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Wobble Puffet? Wobble Buffet?
Oh, he's back. We miss you, Justin. By the way, in the middle of doing the intro, a computer said, "Hey, do you want to do an update?" I'm like, no. Thanks, though.